Hi, welcome to Carscope. I'm Henry, and today we're going to go through stainless steel couplings. Now, we've had a few emails from a few people just asking about, all these look great and all the rest on the website, but what do I actually use them for? So hoping today I can clear up some of those things for you. So we're going to start from smallest, working our way through to largest. So we're going to start with our 1/4 inch couplers. Now, most of the time you're going to be using these either to upgrade guns that you already own, or perhaps to replace a fitting on a gun that you bought from us or that you bought from somewhere else. So all of our fittings that we shop are either nickel plated brass or stainless steel. For all our pressure washing couplings, they're stainless steel. So what I've got here is a 1/4 inch male coupler. You'll use this, as I previously said, to either replace a gun that you've already got, or just like, any consumable. Sometimes ball bearings fall out or the washer on the inside breaks, and this is just an easy, cheap replacement to keep you washing. Now, you can also have this in female. Essentially, it just means that you've got female thread rather than male thread, like you have on this one. Now, you're going to use this for things like wands, anything that's a male 1/4 inch BSP. So in the UK, most of the time we use BSP. In America, you'll see MPT, which stands for National Pipe Thread. So BSP essentially means that these threads are equal length rather than being tapered. So a lot of people like MPT because you can just crank it in to a point in which it stops leaking, whereas BSP is a little bit more precise. Now, we use lock seal here, so there's no taping or anything like that, with just a few dabs of that on, and you can still undo it. It doesn't dry rock hard, but it does seal from water really well, and it makes a much cleaner connection between wherever it is that you're going to be tightening up. So that's what we use for 1/4 inch. So we've got those two there. To accompany those, you're going to need some plugs. So when I say quick release plug, you've got two, male and female. So male is what we're going to be using to upgrade things like your foam can. This is probably what we're going to be connecting to the most, because you'll be using it, say, on a pressure washer nozzle, like the ones you sell in the shop. It's going to connect directly onto either your male or female couplers that you have here. Now, you can simply remove your old zinc plug, or say you're converting from your standard lance and you've got a new quick release gun and you need one for your foam cannon. This is what you use. The female is usually, again, same thing, just the other way around. So it's a female thread. You're going to be screwing us on the end of like wands and different types of fittings and that type of thing. So that's what the female one is for. So moving on to 3/8, and when I say 3/8, all I'm saying there is essentially it's 3/8. It's just a little bit larger than the 1/4 inch. So a little bit more flow. It's usually used sort of for the inlet to guns, outlets from pressure washers and that type of thing, whereas the 1/4 inch is usually on the outlet of a gun or on a foam can. You can kind of break it up that way and it makes it a little bit easier. So if you think outlet 1/4 inch, an inlet is 3/8. It's not always that way, but it's an easy way to think about it. So our 3/8 plug here is what we use on the inlet to our guns, if you choose that adapter for it. And to go along with that, you're going to need a 3/8 coupler. Now, this is a female one. We only sell three female ones in the shop because the hoses that we'll be stocking soon are all 3/8 male, and they simply screw into the end of this, and that means you've now got a super clean connection. Connect it up by that, and that's all you need to do, which is really nice and easy. Now, it gets a little bit more complicated when you start moving towards the outlet from a pressure washer. So most pressure washers, if we take my Kranzel K10 for example, has a 14 mil outlet and then a 3/8 plug here. Now, these are really difficult to find in stainless steel. You can get them zinc plated on Amazon and that type of thing. Thankfully, we managed to find some stainless ones. I mean, hopefully we can keep them in stock. Essentially, this screws onto the outlet of your pressure washer, and then if you're running a hose reel or you're running directly off your hose, you take your 3/8 plug, and it allows you to connect the two cleanly, simply, and easily, which is really useful, especially if you like to, when you break down your pressure washer at the end of washing up, you don't want to leave all your hoses connected to all the rest of it. You can simply and easily disconnect it and hang it on a hose hanger or reel it back up into the reel. Now, that takes me on to our low flow connectors, if you like. So we use these things for like bucket fillers, or if you're upgrading your garden hose setting. Now, these are made by Nito. They're nickel plated brass, but the reason I love them so much is because the diameter is 3/4 inch rather than 1/2 inch. Now, this is the only company I found that makes this. Most hose lock connectors on the market are a 1/2 inch, so quite a narrow orifice, which I'm sure you're seeing, the plastic ones or the brass ones. Now, these are nice and hardy, and you get a good positive click together. Got O-rings on it as well, and it allows for a much higher flow due to that larger internal diameter. Now, for the time being, they only come as BSP female for the plug, male for the plug, and female for the coupler. Now, you're going to have to make sure whatever hose you're using, anything like that, either get a hose tail that goes into the end of the hose, crimp it on, and then you can screw the male or the female, which depends which one you want, with this on it. All of these don't require any taping at all, because any low pressure fittings you're going to be using have their own rubber washers there inside them. So essentially you don't need to go cranking it down really hard or anything, just nip it up to a point you know it's tight and you won't have any leaking. I use these specifically for the inlet to the pressure washer on the shelf over there. Simply clip it in, and there you go. Clip it in, and now you've got a nice high large bore to get as much water going into the machine as possible. So these are excellent for that. They're a little bit stiff. All these couplings sometimes are a little bit stiff when you get them, but they kind of bed in after you use them a little while. So the first time you get them, especially if you buy them, maybe it won't feel like the pro pushes all the way. Just give it a good push and clip the collar of the coupler back up to it, and you should be absolutely fine. And they all bed in. Now if you want to extend the service life of these couplings, I recommend just putting a little bit of plumber's grease in there. All that helps is lube up the rubber seal on the inside of the coupler for you, and it also just makes a slightly more positive engagement between your plug and your coupler. So that pretty much does it for today. I just wanted to touch base with a few people who were asking some questions around it. I hope it helps, and I'll see you next time.